Hey, do you ever feel like you're doing the same things over and over again when you're playing jazz? Have you found yourself looking in the mirror between sets at the gig, saying,
"What am I doing?"
If you answered yes to either one of those questions, then this video is for you. What if I told you that I had 4 very simple ideas to shake up your swing feel? Ideas that I've stolen from some of the greatest that have ever played this instrument. Ideas that are so simple, they don't even require a PDF to explain. Would you be interested in that? Well, let's do it. Idea number 1 is what I like to call the Mel Lewis swing feel, and I bet you can guess who came up with this one. All this is, the Mel Lewis swing feel, is simply treating our hi-hat almost like a ride cymbal. So instead of playing our usual spang-a-lang pattern on any of our rides, we're going to play it on the loose hi-hat. Not a 2 feel, not the type thing, right? But we're just going to keep it loose and treat the hi-hat like a ride cymbal. We can comp behind it with a snare drum, or we can lay a nice constant pattern with the cross stick down, and all of a sudden, voila, we have a whole new sound and a whole new feel a la Mel Lewis. Check this out. Our second idea comes from the great Ed Thigpen, who's probably most well known as the incredibly swinging drummer behind the Oscar Peterson trio, being Oscar Peterson on piano, Ray Brown on bass, and Ed Thigpen on the drums. I love Ed Thigpen, and I really learned how to swing through listening to his stuff and playing along with his Oscar Peterson records. And one thing that Ed always did that struck me as very unique was he would a lot of times play a 2 feel on the ride cymbal. Now, most people learn the 2 feel and think of the 2 feel as being something that lives on the hi-hats. It's our type thing, right? But Ed would oftentimes play this on the ride. So it's kind of a hybrid of the standard hi-hat 2 feel and our standard swing feel that we'd play when the bass line is walking. So for this, I'm going to play my hi-hat with my foot on beats 2 and 4. I'm going to play a light feathered bass drum on the opposite beats 1 and 3. And I'm going to play on my ride cymbal 1, 3, 1, 3. I'm not going to play 2 or 4. 2 and 4 are going to be covered by the hi-hat. And with all of those things combined, we get this very nice legato, different feeling 2 feel. Coming again from the great Ed Thigpen. Check it out. Now, feel number 3, I have stolen from the great Jeff Hamilton. And this is what I like to call just the Jeff Hamilton light swing feel, right? A different way to orchestrate playing swing when the volume has to come down, right? Now, a lot of people might think of going to the brushes on the snare, or maybe playing a tight hi-hat for a nice staccato, low volume sound. Both of those would be great options. But, again, if we're thinking about shaking things up here, another way we could do this is what Jeff Hamilton often does behind bass solos, I've noticed, listening to a lot of his small group playing. He will play our swing pattern that we would normally play on the ride cymbal up either on the bell or right below the bell of the smallest ride cymbal on our setup, right? So that's going to give us a very high-pitched, controlled, low-volume sound right up there. And then instead of playing the hi-hat with his foot, he's going to play the hi-hat with his left stick on beats 2 and 4. And he can also do some comping stuff there, right? So I like to use this swing feel, this light swing feel, behind bass solos, much like Jeff Hamilton does. And I also like to use it as a way to maybe build up during the solo. So I might start on just the hi-hat, and then I might go to this to take things up a notch, and then I might go later to more of a 2-feel type thing, right? Here's an example of how I might use the Jeff Hamilton light swing feel in a musical context. Our fourth and final simple idea is another one that I've taken from, really, I've heard both Ed Thigpen and Jeff Hamilton do this. And this is what I like to call the conga feel, right? Now, lots of older big bands used to have a conga player that would play along with a drummer. And over the years, the conga player kind of disappeared, but a lot of people still liked to have that sound, and Ed Thigpen, I guess, was probably the first person that I heard do this. So he's playing a standard swing feel, right? But we're playing a cross stick on 2 on the snare drum with the snares off, and then we're playing 4 on the snare head, right? So it sounds like a conga. And this is kind of the pattern that the conga player would often play in a swing tune, right? So we're playing the swing feel, the job of the drummer, and we're also kind of playing the conga part, right? We're doing 2 things at once. And I've heard Jeff Hamilton do this a lot too. I think the key to selling this feel is making sure that we leave that snare off, so it gives us that high-pitched conga sound, right? You could do this between the snare and maybe your rack tom, but it sounds less like a conga, in my humble opinion. So check out this conga feel, see what you think. There you have it, folks. 4 simple ideas that you can use to shake up your swing feel. What do you think? Have you done any of these before? Have you heard of these being done before? What are some other ways that you shake up your swing feel? Let me know in the comments below. Let's get a little conversation going. I love getting to connect with you guys that are watching these videos. That's honestly one of my favorite things about doing this whole YouTube thing. Speaking of YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, if you liked anything that you saw in this video today, if anything was helpful to you, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Both of those things are free, and they don't cost you but a second of your time, and they help me tremendously. As always, ladies and gentlemen, we will have more fun, fresh new content coming your way right here on the ColeOnDrums YouTube channel. Until then, practice these 4 simple ideas. Use them in your own jazz playing. Be kind to one another. Stay cool. Take care. And good. Bye.